Across Australia, New Zealand and the South Pacific, this is the week's Adventist news in focus.
Hello, it's great to have you join us this week. I'm Sibel Kute. As Australia's population ages, the nation will face a number of challenges, including what some are calling a tsunami of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia. According to the ABC, an Australian is diagnosed with Alzheimer's every 6 seconds on average. It's the third most prevalent cause of death in Australia and the second highest for women. But new research from Chicago's Rush University suggests that certain foods can reduce the risk of developing Alzheimer's and even slow the progress of mental decline. The star foods were berries, green leafy vegetables and nuts in the context of a plant-based Mediterranean diet. Health experts from the Adventist Church, which has long promoted healthy living, welcome the research.
Certainly the idea around putting more fruits and vegetables into the diet and improving health of a number of different systems is definitely becoming more mainstream. And people have looked at it, of course, with cardiovascular disease. They've looked at it with things like diabetes. What's interesting is that there is this growing number of studies that are showing there that this is also good for the brain. And that shouldn't surprise us, because of course the brain is an organ that's dependent on having healthy nutrients coming into it as much as anywhere else.
America and the world was shocked by the city of Baltimore's descent into violence and looting after the death of a young African-American man, Freddie Gray, in police custody. But between the rioting, tear gas and military intervention, a story was emerging of Christian peacemaking, with religious leaders themselves taking to the streets to call for justice and calm. According to the Baltimore Sun, various pastors, priests and imams walked through some of the worst affected areas and knelt for prayer in the street. A statement from the Seventh-day Adventist Church expressed sorrow for Freddie Gray's family, condemned violence, and committed to working within the Baltimore community to bring transformation. Dialogue in Hungary has brought together two factions of the Seventh-day Adventist Church that have been at odds for 40 years. During the communist period, church leaders in Hungary agreed to work under government structures, triggering a breakaway movement in 1975 by Adventist pastors and members who became an underground church. After the fall of communism, the different perspectives of the two factions did not allow for unification. But now, with a new generation of leaders and a willingness to apologize for the wrongs of the past, a series of successful consultations have been held, and it appears that reconciliation is at last possible. Ahead of global church meetings in July this year, a group of retired top-level Adventist leaders have launched a campaign in favour of ordaining women pastors.
The whole ordination question boils down to one simple question: does this person have the gift? And the other part of that question is, if so, who are we not to recognize it?
The group is led by Dr. Jan Paulsen, the most recently retired Adventist World President, and includes administrators, academics, and evangelists with global experience. The Adventist Elders Group says unity can only be preserved if the church in different regions of the world is allowed to decide on women's ordination according to its own cultural setting.
The Adventist Church needs women at all levels and in all phases of its ministry.
If you enjoyed the news this week, there's so much more in the full half hour of Record in Focus. The United Nations calls on religious leaders to work together against extremism. The View from Canberra, Politics in Focus.
Both parties, as I say, should support marriage between a man and a woman because that upholds the best interests of the child in public policy.
And we hear how God spoke to Adventist music artist Naomi Streamer.
Funny because people often think, oh, if I follow God's way, you know, He's going to force me into something I don't want. It's not going to be as fun. It's not going to be as cool. But the fact of the matter is, this is God, the person who created you, who wants the best for you, who wants you to be happy.
If you'd like to watch Record in Focus, tune in on Hope Channel, the Australian Christian Channel, or Digital 44 in Adelaide. If none of those options work for you, each week's program is also available at the Record website, record.net.au. We'd love to see you there. Until next week, God bless and all the best. See you then.